Inside of this video, I'll break down the truth behind how much online tutors are actually making in 2025. So if you're a teacher who wants to increase your teaching income without quitting the teaching profession or simply start teaching more, earning more, this is for you. I'll share how some of my clients like Tara, who brought in an extra 6 figures cash into her business in just 8 months. Evan brought in 100 grand cash also alongside of his full-time classroom job using online tutoring. So I'll break down exactly how they're doing it inside of this video so you can see exactly how much online teachers are making. Teachers like you, teachers that are no smarter than you, they're just using a specific model of online tutoring to increase their teaching income. I'll share that with you inside of this video because I'll also be breaking down how they're doing it, and then I'll show you how you can get started as well. So let's jump in right now. And so first things first, I asked ChatGPT a series of questions to show me the difference between classroom teachers and online tutors in 2025. Now, one of the things that ChatGPT highlighted from studies talked about the income potential behind online tutoring, and the stats were staggering. So if you look at this first step that I unveiled here inside of ChatGPT from the researcher it could do online on what online tutors are making, check this out. So first things first, income potential. The classroom teaching position, it's a salary, it's a paid job, right? So it's 30 grand to 45 grand, which is average in the UK. Obviously, it depends if you're becoming head of departments, things like that. The location that you teach might be slightly higher, but then again, your living costs are higher anyway. But average 30 to 45K in the UK, 45 to 65K in the US. Okay, whereas online tutoring, you're looking at between somewhere of 60 grand to 150 grand and beyond. Okay, which is realistic with group tutoring programs, and that's the key, and we're going to uncover that as well. And so here's what you need to consider. Online tutors have an unlimited ceiling, right? There isn't a ceiling. You can scale it to whatever level that you want. Okay, you can increase your pricing, you can serve more students, and you can build a team to expand out and just keep increasing your business. A business generally doesn't have a limit on how far it can go, right? As long as you have the right strategies, you have the right growth plan in place, you can continue to earn more and more and more based on the results that you're, of course, delivering. Whereas a classroom teacher, on the other hand, of course, you're always going to be limited because there's so many hours in the day. Plus, you are in a salaried position, just like many other jobs out there, which means your income is capped, right? And therefore, you don't have many bonus incentives either. As you can see here on the screen, it's rare to have bonus incentives in a school. Sure, you could take on a few private tutoring clients on the side, but with online tutoring, online tutors can control their pricing, how many upgrades, how many students they retain, upsells. They can create different offers, different programs, like in the school holidays, things like that, to continue to increase their income. They can launch different subjects. You can really expand out the business. Okay, so the verdict from ChatGPT, tutoring wins. Even with just 10 to 15 students in premium group programs, you can double your income as a teacher. And that's what we're going to cover today. So it's not uncommon for teachers to turn to online tutoring and quickly double, triple, and even quadruple their entire teaching salary in literally just a few months. For example, one of my clients, Quinita up here, was teaching in an elementary school, and 12 weeks after leaving her position as an elementary school teacher, she brought in 50 grand in sales into her online tutoring business. And she's using the exact pricing model that I'm going to be walking you through here today inside of this video, which is why you don't want to miss it. Okay, so how is this even possible then? Well, let's break this down so you can see how much online tutors are able to make in this day and age. So if you think about an online tutoring class, parents probably going to pay somewhere between, £50 or $50 or even as low as 25 or whatever for an hour's worth of tutoring. Okay, that can go up as high as 150, 200, depending upon the tutor, of course. But if you follow that model of just pricing your services by the hour, then you're really just attaching a price tag over your head, right? You're saying that my time is worth this amount. And when you do that, you are simply just creating a job. So if you want to increase your income as a online tutor, then you need to be able to price differently. And this is how online tutors are earning more. Clients like mine, like Quinita that I shared, like Evan, like Tara, and even Sajib up here, who's bringing in consistent 10 grand a month into his online tutoring business, they're using a different model. Okay, so the key then behind this model is to use group programs. Okay, so premium group programs where you can charge a higher amount over a set period of time. So let's say 12 weeks or 8 weeks. 12 weeks is what we found here at the Teacher Project is a great time frame because it creates commitment of close to 90 days, which most people know, according to studies, is a great time to see change in something. People can stick to it, and so they can stay focused. So it's a great time to see results in your students, okay? It also creates a little bit of predictability into your business. So you would price your online tutoring services at a length of 12 weeks, and then you would price accordingly, not per lesson, but based on a result, okay, as a package, as a group tutoring package. Okay, and that way, the key behind this is it takes attention and takes focus off just what a lesson is worth. Okay, because when you just fixate a price and attach a price and a rate onto a lesson, then you're just consistently being judged on what happens in that particular lesson. All right, and so therefore, if a lesson doesn't go well one week, then, you know, like people are going to say, oh, well, it's not really worth paying that. Okay, and so that can just be purely based on feelings on how a student might turn up to a lesson, how they're feeling, and not your teaching ability. Whereas when you're pricing over the long period of time, then you're just going to have students who are more committed to the long term as well, and it allows you to command a higher rate and take the attention of just what happens in one particular lesson, and everything's judged over a period of time. So that's the first key behind this. And so what can you price your online tutoring lessons at or packages at so that you can increase your teaching income, okay, and charge more as an online tutor? Well, the key is to start somewhere at about £500 or $500 if you're getting started with 0 students, 0 online experience as a teacher. Then you need to generate results first, right? You don't have any case studies, you probably don't have any testimonials, maybe you don't have any sales skills either. And of course, these are skills that are built over time through repetition. And so in the beginning, you need to think long term, not like the person who's looking to lose weight but gives up after 2 weeks because they haven't lost any weight in the gym, right? We all know that results come after commitment and consistency, okay, over a period of time. You need to have a mindset of long-term gratification. It's the same in anything in life, right? And that's how you become successful. Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps what I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments and go and pick up your copy today. So if you don't want to start off charging that, then you need to have some, so when I say that, I mean about $500, £500 or 12 weeks. You think your services are worth more? Great. If you can start off more than that, fantastic. You'll definitely be able to. So after you've done that, you can progress to perhaps 750 or 1,000, and then you can keep increasing your rate based on the amount of results that you're getting your students. So here's how this breaks down so you can see how much online tutors are charging or making, right? So if I'm charging 1,000 per student, let's say, over a 12-week period, and I'm able to create a group tutoring program where I have perhaps 5 students in a group and I teach 10 hours a week. I see my students once a week in a group, and I've got 5 students in that group. Well, each month, if I want to get to 10 grand a month and my online tutoring service is priced at $1,000, now I only need to make 10 sales. So it becomes just simply a matter of maths. And so that way you've got a much more predictable model to scale your income. So going back to the model I shared, if you've got 10 hours of teaching, 5 students per class that you've got, and you fill all of these spaces in your 10 classes, so 5 students times 10 is 50, right? And so if you were to fill that, your business has brought in 50 grand if you're charging $1,000 per student, right? That's over 12 weeks. Okay, and so you brought in 50 grand, and now if you were to times 12 by 4, that's about 48 weeks, or it's 48, that's almost a year. Okay, so let's say that you could have 4 of those cycles going on per year, as long as all of your classes are full. Okay, and you've got all of the classes full with 5 students per class, 50 grand times 4, that's what you could have the students paying per year. And this is just you solo with just 5 students in a group at just 10 lessons a week. All right, 50 times 4, 200 grand. All right, so that's how you build a 6-figure online tutoring business, is make sure that you are pricing your services over a length of time so you can bring in cash up front to pour back into things like advertising so you can continue to fill these spaces in the groups. And then it's really just about retention. So that means making sure that you're getting your students amazing results in these group programs. And that's why in the beginning, it's probably better to keep the group sizes smaller so you can gain experience, you can work with the students. And it's also why it's beneficial to teach less, because you've got more energy, you can focus more on creating a more intimate experience for these groups that you build. Then from there, if you want to increase your teaching income, then all you can do is simply change a few different things. You can increase your rate. Okay, so you can increase your rate, you could double the rate. If you were starting at 500, you might charge $1,000, or if you're charging $1,000, you might charge 1,200. Okay, and so one of the things that we've seen here at the Teach Project work for our clients like Marcus, who's bringing in 10 grand in a single month, teaching online with his own online tutoring business, and clients like Luke, who crossed the 20 grand a month mark as he's a former secondary school maths teacher, right? And he was able to bring in 20 grand in a single month as an online tutor, way more than his teaching salary, right? Well, what they're doing is they're just increasing their rate once they improve their sales skills and measuring it against their close rate. Meaning, if I speak to 10 students, let's say, and 40% of those students are enrolling, so 4 students out of 10, that's now a good sign that I can increase my rate. And so I can increase my rate by about 20% to 25% and keep increasing it until I find the price elasticity, meaning when my close rate starts to drop below 25% and I can't hold it. But if you're continuing to close or make enrollments of about 40% to 50% ideally of the students that you speak to enroll, then that's a good sign to increase that rate. Another way that you can increase your teaching income as an online tutor is to create an incentive for people to pay you up front. Okay, 12 weeks, and let's say it were $1,000, right? For 12 weeks, what I could say is actually if you pay for it all up front, it's just $750, whether that's pounds or dollars, doesn't matter. Okay, based on the country you're in. And so that way it creates an incentive for the student to pay in full. That gives me better cash, better margins, better cash flow into my business. It allows me to hire other tutors because I've got the money and the funds to pay these teachers. Okay, so that way I can now focus more on taking more sales calls if I'm an online tutor, so I can enroll more students. And if I'm able to hire more tutors to help me grow my business, then I've got more spaces in the classes to fill. And that's what's key, because this allows you to grow exponentially. Because when you try and grow linearly, meaning just you, more enrollment calls, more students, open up more time slots, eventually you're going to create a monster, and there's a ceiling, there's a limit to how far you can go, right? Whereas group tutoring, what it does is it's almost like a well, right? And you can dig the well as deep as you want, right? And so what I mean by that, you can expand by hiring tutors, you can open up more slots per class, you can then increase your rate. And so the impact keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. So the well, meaning you can just keep digging it, you can impact more students, and of course you're going to earn way more as an online tutor when you do that. Okay, and now if I'm charging a little bit more if students break up the payment over a period of time, another good sign to increase your rate is if, for example, Again, that magic 40% mark, ideally 50%, are all paying up front. Okay, so going back to what I mentioned, if you were charging $1,000 for 12 weeks and it was 750 if people paid up front and in full, well, if 40 to 50%, ideally closer to 50%, are paying up front for that fee for your tutoring program, then that's a good sign to increase the rate again by 20 to 25%. And you just keep moving up like that. So there's really no limit on what you can charge and what you can earn as an online tutor. All it requires then is the right strategies to enroll students and get students. And so here's what a lot of teachers do and why it doesn't work. They post on social media and they get their first few signups from referrals or friends through word of mouth. They get excited and they take these students on, and that's great, right? Referrals are a good way to get students, but it's not predictable. Okay, so you might take a student in who needs help with maths in the 3rd grade versus the student who's in 6th grade. And because these students are so different, they become very hard to group. And so what you really need is a consistent way to attract the right student. And you do that through things like sponsored advertising, because you are able to advertise. I mean, we live in a world, right, where you can literally pay Facebook or pay Instagram or YouTube or whoever a little bit of money to advertise and get your message or your offer on how you can help students out to the people who need to see it. It's very targeted. Okay, so you've got a predictable traffic source. And so the key then is just use sponsored advertising to get in front of these parents and students who need your help, and then convert them into group tutoring programs. Okay. Now, in the beginning though, if you're starting out, so here's how you can get started with this, then you probably don't have many testimonials, meaning you haven't got many results to showcase to new parents or students who've seen you. So there is some low-hanging fruit that you can use. And you can just reach out initially to everybody on your social media platform. Go and let them know what you're going to do. You're going to be starting to take a small group of students as case studies. You charge a lower rate and you might have a lower time frame as well, because it's more like, let's date before we get married. And so it's a lower barrier of entry, it's a lower commitment, and therefore it's easier for you to sell, gain some experience, get some results for these students, collect testimonials, perhaps over a 30-day period of how much they enjoyed your services and your lessons, and then you can look to increase your rate from there. Okay, you can then give these initial groups of students who you might collect as case studies who get this kind of lower barrier to entry and a case study rate. You can then give them the opportunity to extend for 12 weeks once you've worked with them for a shorter period of time. You take these results and then you use them inside of your marketing campaigns to increase the trust, the desire from parents who've never heard of you before or students who've never heard of you before. Okay, that way you're setting yourself up for long-term success. And as I said, you're probably then going to start at 500 for 12 weeks, then go to 750, then go to $1,000, then 1,200, then 1,500, and so on. Keep increasing it by 20 to 25% until you find the price elasticity. I've taught this process to over 3,000 teachers now, and it's exactly how teachers are turning into online tutors and earning way more. So the truth is, there's no limit to what you can earn as an online tutor. There's just a few skills that stand in your way from pretty much being able to write your own paycheck. And if this sounds just a little bit interesting, in my brand new book, Teaching on Your Own Terms, I break down everything that you need to know to get started on this process. You can go to www.teachonyourownterms.com and you can grab my best-selling book today. I share how to position yourself and attract your ideal students as an online tutor so you stand out in today's marketplace. I share with you detailed strategies on how you should advertise, how you should increase your sales when it comes to online tutoring, and what you should actually provide your students so they get amazing results in a group, life-changing results, so you can retain your students and continue to grow your business. So get started with the book, teachonyourownterms.com, and there's the truth about how much online tutors are earning in 2025, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow as the years go by, as the demand for online tutoring increases. If you like the video or wherever you're watching this, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.